Did you make this cake, Beep? And I didn't, so I wonder how it got here. Whatever you do, Beep, don't eat it. The Rabbit Hole review for the PlayStation VR.
Let's begin.
First up, let's take a look at the gameplay. The Rabbit Hole is an escape room game. You'll be finding objects and solving puzzles to get out of a room. When you pick up an object, it is placed into your inventory, where you can use it on another object in the room. The game does have quite a unique mechanic, which is making yourself bigger and smaller by eating a cake or drinking a potion. The problem is that the cakes and potions are limited and you can run out of them. If this happens and you need to be big to solve a puzzle, the game does not give you an indication that you must restart. It really is quite annoying, as you could be searching for quite a while without realising that it is impossible to proceed. You are on a time limit though, and if you're searching long enough, you will die and the game will end. One of the puzzles has a major difficulty spike, and I don't think I'd have ever solved it without a walkthrough. A message appears when you first attempt it saying that it is quite a tricky puzzle. Making a puzzle difficult isn't the issue here. The issue is that you are on a time limit. It just seems a bit unfair considering this puzzle involves quite a bit of thought, and I doubt many will complete it without dying a few times first. Most of the puzzles are fun to solve though, and they are exactly what you would expect from an escape room game. There are some jump scares in it, but they do come across a bit cheap because of the lack of a backstory. Now let's take a look at how immersive this game is. The game takes place in one very small room, and because of this the depth is great. The main problem is how dark everything is. You are able to turn the brightness up from the main menu, but even on the highest setting it can be quite dark in some areas. The graphics are crisp, but some of the textures are a bit blurry, especially on the bookshelf. Because the game takes place in one room with not many objects, it's a bit of a shame that extra care didn't go into every object's detail. When you use a cake or potion to become bigger or smaller, it does feel great and really does change the depth and scale of the room that you're in. It really is quite a cool mechanic and feels quite surreal as you grow or shrink. This feeling could only ever be truly felt through the use of VR. The music is quite ominous, and it did make me feel uneasy, but the lack of story of why I am in the room ruined the tension for me when later events occurred. Now let's take a look at the setup and what controllers the game supports. I played this game in a seated position just under 2 meters away from the camera. The head tracking was perfect and the game did not give me motion sickness. The game supports a DualShock controller, 1 Move controller and 2 Move controllers. When playing with a DualShock controller, you can look at arrow markers and then press a button to teleport there, or you can use smooth movement by turning off the comfort setting in the main menu. The problem with this is that you have to keep pushing up on the left analog stick to move forward, and if you look to the left or right, it will suddenly stop your movement. It feels very janky and often is a struggle to even navigate the room. It is possible to play the game with 1 Move controller, however, it will be seen as your left hand, so if you're right-handed, it will break the immersion. With the Move controller, you point to a location you want to teleport to instead of looking at a predetermined marker. Playing with 2 Move controllers is the best option, as you can teleport to any location you want and both of your hands are visible. This is the way I played for the majority of my time with the game. Now let's take a look at the length of the game and what trophies come with it. This is quite a hard one for me to give a time of completion, because I did get stuck on that one difficult puzzle and was adamant on not using a walkthrough for quite some time. You'll probably be getting somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour depending on your puzzle solving skills. In total there are 12 trophies that can be achieved. There is 8 bronze, 3 silver and 1 gold. I had 1 trophy left to get after beating the game and I have no idea how to achieve it, even after reading its description. And now it's time for the verdict. This game originally appeared on the Samsung Gear, and although it's probably impressive on that, on the PSVR you do expect more, especially now that the PSVR has been out for over a year. I did enjoy searching for room to begin with, but I think exploring most worlds virtually in VR is fun to a certain extent. But when it ends, and you think back on the game, it really is quite forgettable overall. The one thing that I did really enjoy is the shrinking and growing mechanic. I just wish it was explored a bit more, and hopefully it will appear in another game in the future. It really really does have a lot of potential, especially in the puzzle game genre. I personally think puzzle games shouldn't halt your progress because you have used an item, and if they do, they should at least tell you that you need to restart. It really is unfair and could potentially make the game longer for no real reason. If you are a massive fan of room escape games, it may be worth a look as the price of the game is quite cheap, but I think most will see this game more as a tech demo, especially with its ending. I give the rabbit hole a score of 4 out of 10. Pete! Open this door! Please don't tell me you ate the cake!